Good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Grandmaster Arthur Neiksans, and I'm back with my newest bootcamp. Yeah, so everybody who has joined the stream in the first minutes, good night. Yeah, check out what time is it for you, by the way. And the Golden Nose, hello, the newest follower, and everybody else who is here. 11 p.m. Oh my goodness. Oh, this must be painful to learn something for chess at this late hour for you. I'm so sorry, but I mean, I couldn't do this earlier. And, right. So today's plan is I want to give you some insights how to tackle actually it's more than several, 15 in total, just gambits, and how to play against them. Right, speaking about the term, what is a gambit, right? I think most of you probably understand what it is. It means either of this side, white or black, voluntarily sacrifices material. In most occasions it is a pawn. Sometimes it's exchange or exchange for a pawn, maybe a piece, in order to gain initiative. Yeah, hi Lemadado. And I guess we can start with something very simple, which is, I don't actually have prepared a list of the potential gambits. And I don't know, maybe we could start with, what do you think about the Latvian gambit? Since I'm a Latvian player, I had not landed up as the first in the list, but I think it makes sense. You usually gambit a king. Okay. Fried liver attack. Listen, Jacob, I heard this one, but I don't remember the sequence, how to get there. So the idea is this. I could go through the potential gambits. You have the chance to ask what to do against a specific gambit, right? I mean, we can try to do this. Okay, so I'll start with the Latvian gambit. Let me prepare a little. Just a second. All right, and let's start with the Latvian gambit. What is the Latvian gambit? So I'm pretty sure you already know what it is. Please don't be mistaken. I mean, you might think, wait a second, are you gonna talk about some ridiculous openings as Latvian gambit? I think this is one of the high matis. One of the worst gambits, to be honest, because it drops a pawn for no good reason. But I think we have to start with something. So the Latvian gambit is f5. Yeah. So the legend goes that in the beginning of 20th century, some leading theoreticians believed that knight c6 and the rising Rael Lopez lead to risky positions. Thus, people were researching some alternatives. And the Latvian master Kārlis Bētiņš decided to research a sharper continuation, and later this variation was dubbed as Latvian gambit, mainly because of the studies, because of studies by Kārlis Bētiņš. Benko, we can try to scratch it. Yeah, Benko is a very big topic, so I would imagine Benko, I can give you some sort of insight. But I think it really, Limitado, it deserves a separate bootcamp. Because this is something I cannot cover in 5 minutes. Right, so f5. So the idea is black is immediately countering the center. For example, something like e takes on f5. The idea would be to play e5. Which is e4, I mean e4, knight e5, queen g5. So this is the typical idea, but still, white gets an advantage here. I mean, I cannot really imagine a line where white does not get an advantage. So I think the simplest one is knight e5. right? Simple and strong. Maybe even d4 is possible. I mean, I don't target. I think actually knight takes on e5 is better because after d4, f takes. Knight e5, knight f6, still white has an advantage, but we already pushed d4. And the difference is, if we play knight takes on e5 right away, with a simple idea to play queen h5 check, then black has to do something about it. So for example, queen f6. By the way, there is a funny gambit, knight c6. There is a Latvian player, Vairs Kurpniks, who advocates this line for some reason and says queen h5 is bad for white. Well, I won't argue, really, but I think the simplest choice, really, instead of going for the complications, which is okay for white, is simply take. I just knight c3, and that's it. Yeah, there's no pawn. There's no pawn for black. I mean, of course, in some blitz where you don't care about the pawn, you can still play it, but still queen h5, g6, I think that was the line, knight g6, here, here, h takes, queen h8, some knight d4, what was the line here? I mean, still, computer is quite confident that black is in very deep trouble, so I won't even talk about this. And the main line is after queen f6, we go knight c4, f takes, knight e3, and that's it. It's very simple. White is simply going to play d3. For example, I don't remember what was the main line here, maybe something like queen f7, d3, takes, bishop d3, followed by short castle. Black is so far behind the development that he's simply struggling. So unfortunately, Latvian gambit is not really a great gambit, and to its defense, I'll say I played it once. I did play it because otherwise I would not be able to call myself as a Latvian, right? Since I never tried Latvian gambit. I played it in a blitz game, already being a grandmaster, and I won the game. But the conclusion was this: I'm simply losing a pawn, and for what reason? I hope somebody is gonna investigate a more serious line which is gonna bear the title of the Latvians. Yeah, unfortunately, Latvian gambit is a dubious gambit. Right. Okay, let's move on with the e4 gambits. And the next gambit is the Evans gambit. So this is the gambit number 2. So what is Evans gambit? So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. I suggest we are gonna look this from the black's perspective. Morra is in the list. Morra is in the list. Don't worry. I'm gonna also tackle a Smith-Morra gambit. It's there. I included pretty much all of the so-called smaller gambits. I was unable to include Benko gambit because it's a very, very huge topic. But, I mean, if I'll have some time, definitely I'll say my thoughts about this. So bishop c5 and b4. The idea invented by the American grandmaster Larry Evans. Make him in the Morra. Right. And the point is, after b4, bishop b4, c3, white is gaining quite a lot of time in the center. He's thinking about to play d4, queen b3, and immediately pressure, for example, pawn on f7, strike in the center, and it can be easy actually to misplay this. So for example, you'd play something like bishop a5, which by the way is a very fine move. Now I think the main line was d4, e takes, what was it here, queen b3? I don't remember, I think it was queen f6 and short castle. And if black is greedy and he takes as many pawns as he can take, after bishop g5, queen g6, knight c3, it becomes apparent that white has such an amazing lead in opening, right? All of the pieces are developed, right? Black has 2 extra pawns, but it is a super dangerous position. Doesn't mean it's not playable. Mop up Zemora. Maybe, I don't know this particular book, Valles Cervantes. I mean, Smith-Morra Gambit is a fine gambit, but I'll have a simple remedy for that. It is a fine. I mean, I don't argue. I have nothing against people who play Smith-Morra Gambit. It's completely fine. But the problem is, it's not giving any advantage for white. All right, so anyway, there is a very simple rule that you need to know against the Evans Gambit, and it's literally 2 moves. That's it. So now you need to know the first move, Duras Gambit. Please remind me what that is. I'll check it out. I had a list, Matis. I had a list of the gambits I was checking, and I picked the most popular ones, which I knew better myself. I do not know all of them. There's some crazy lines as well. I first heard of them. E4 F5. No, wait a second. E4 F5 was E takes on King F7 Fred's gambit, right? This I remember. Anyway, so here black plays Bishop E7. So this is the first move, what you need to know. And the point is, after D4, all you need to know is this move, Knight A5. That's it. It's as simple as it gets. You simply play Knight A5 and you give up the pawn on E5. There's nothing else to know. So for example, white continues with Bishop E2. You play D6. You give up the pawn. Queen A4 check is not dangerous, right? For example, Queen A4 check, C6. You have to take. Knight E5, Knight F6, castle, Queen C7, and that's it. Easy game. And typical plan for black involves either to play B5, I don't remember what was after B5, Bishop B7, was it C5, or B6, Rook E8, Bishop D6, Bishop B7 at the right time, and black simply enjoys a good game. Although, I mean, you could argue that white is having this powerful pawn center. It is a very rich game for both sides. Actually, I think for some reason the Evans Gambit is a little bit neglected. I haven't seen it so much played at a good GM level. I think it's much better than the King's Gambit, by the way. Yeah, after Knight A5, Knight E5, wait a second, Jagan. So again, all you need to know, move number 1 is Bishop E7, D4, Knight A5. This crazy move solves all of your problems. And Knight E5, you just take it here. You eliminate this bishop. You play D5, Queen D5, and that's it. Easy game. I mean, nothing to worry about, of course. This line is playable for white, as many other lines, but you are not in no danger. And the point of this Knight A5 is you're driving away the Evans Gambit bishop from this diagonal. And after, for example, Bishop E2, D6, should it be D takes automatically, or Queen A4, C6, you are forcing your opponent to take back the pawn. Easy game for white, Jagan? I would say easy game for black. I mean, it is playable, I don't argue. But what is the alternative? The alternative for you is to play risky lines and memorize very, very sharp lines. For example, what is this here? Bishop A5. I think I already showed you this line. D4, E takes, Queen B3, super crazy lines. One mistake, you're gone. It's as quickly as it is, especially in blitz. And I've talked with a number of professional players and asked them this question. What do you think about Evans Gambit? All of them answered the same thing. Bishop E7, Knight A5. That's it. I mean, you don't need to know nothing else because this is the simplest approach. If you want to study something more, absolutely you can do this. But I mean, by knowing this maneuver, this weird maneuver of Bishop E7, Knight A5, you're essentially closing one line to study. Yeah, high chess is great. There is, by the way, some alternatives. For example, quite interesting move is Bishop D6. If you want to play for the win. If you want to keep the pawn, D4, Knight F6, castle, H6. But I would say that white does keep some kind of a compensation, but you can at least stop a very direct attack. And I think also your choosing of the continuation should really depend on your time control. Imagine you're playing a blitz game. Why would you want to play bishop a5 and walk a tightrope? One mistake, you're losing. If you're playing a classical game, sure, you can think. You can think about all of the nuances. You can choose between bishop d6, bishop a5. What was the most accurate defense there? And you can challenge your opponent. In blitz, in rapid, bishop e7, knight a5, that's more than enough. Okay, I hope Evan's gambit is closed by this. By the way, I think I wanted to mention bishop e7, queen b3. Yeah, this is a possibility, but you just play knight h6. Yeah, that's a very good question. Colin Cohn, d4, and still knight a5. Yeah, so knight a5 is still a very big threat. So you need to deal with this. Something like queen c2 here. Well, I don't know. I mean, nobody has played it, I think. So d4, knight a5, here, takes. Again, just give up the pawn, d6. Just don't be greedy. Bishop takes. Wait a second. I don't remember. Should I take on e5 right away? Yeah, c6, and black is simply better. Two bishops, bishop e6, maybe queen a5 is incoming in the game, and nothing to worry about. I think it's quite important also immediately to state that my understanding approaching various gambits is this. Accepting them is very principled approach, but you are not obliged to keep to your conquered material at all costs. The beauty of accepting the gambit very often is giving back the conquered material at the right time. Wouldn't c6 first after queen b5? I'm not sure. No, not really here. c6, knight e5, c6, queen e5, knight c4 is some queen g7. I don't know what is this. Yeah, by the way, computer saying this is playing, but to be honest, I have not investigated this. Yeah, rook g8, queen h7, some weird line. Rook g2 or d6, no clue. I mean, I don't know, this looks fun. Where the king is gonna go? By the way, computer says this is very much playable. I mean, why not? But again, all you need to know is two moves. Bishop e7, knight a5, give up the pawn back on e5. Again, this maneuver. Here. Knight a5, exclamation mark. Whatever, bishop d3 or bishop e2. It doesn't matter. Just play d6. That's it. Very simple. Okay, let's move on. The next one, number 3, and on the list is the Scotch gambit. Yeah, of course. By the way, if you have some questions, I will be very, very happy to answer them. So this is the point, right? So if you still feel that something is not clear, maybe I just rushed, maybe I didn't explain something in detail, yeah, just ask me in the chat, yeah, and I'll answer. So that's why I'm here. Yeah, simple play, strong play. Migart, I agree. So the next one is the Scotch gambit. What is a Scotch gambit? e4, e5, here, d4, bishop c4. Yeah, I bet some of you have met this nasty line. And it can be quite tricky. Everybody probably knows the main line of knight f6. Knight f6, and there are pretty much 3 continuations. So continuation number 1 is e5, d5, bishop b5, knight e4. And what was it? Knight d4. There's, by the way, a very interesting move, bishop c5. But bishop d7 is the main move, and that's... Well, actually, black is doing very much fun. Cochrane as well. Cochrane is in the list. Yeah, Cochrane is in the list. The second move here is knight g5, which you also would need to know. Knight g5, for example, knight e5, bishop b3, h6, f4, h takes, f takes, knight e4. Black is doing great, but it looks quite scary. And Ponziani is there as well, guys. I try to include all of the important gambits. And finally, after knight of 6, there is also short castle. So you would need to know quite a lot. So knight e4, rook e1, d5. What was the best here? I don't remember. Was it knight c3 or bishop d5? I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was bishop d5, takes, knight c3. I'm always mixing up where the queen should go. Should it h5 or a5? Knight e4, bishop e6, followed by long castle. So all of this is playable. I played it when I was at the children level, playing chess. But there is a much simpler move, I believe. I mean, you can do all of this, but I came to really like, simple bishop c5. That's it. And I avoid many lines. I avoid the Scotch gambit. So again, after bishop c5, what can white do? c3 feels that it has to be played with the idea that any d takes is typically be met by bishop f7, queen d5, queen c5. That looks dangerous. But the point is, we actually switched to the Italian opening. We play knight f6, c takes d4, bishop b4. This is a harmless line because after every single move you're playing knight e4. So if you would play Italian opening and you know this line, this is not dangerous. So either knight c3, knight d2, bishop d2, you just play knight takes on e4 after every single move. You're doing very much fine. e5 is d5 again. So this is the common motive. Here, I think this was not so good. And after bishop b5, knight e4, c takes, the simplest is bishop b6, short castle, bishop e6, f6. But this is a different topic. This is the Italian opening. And actually, I think I could make a separate bootcamp about the Italian opening for black. A complete system. I think it's quite solid and quite good. And the point is, after bishop c5, white has to do something about it. So what is else there? There is instead of the c3, let's say there is a short castle, d6, c3 takes, queen b3. But you can always simply play bishop e6. Although computer is a big fan of queen d7, bishop e6, give up some pawns, takes. Here, knight g7, you are getting an excellent position with the idea of short castle and rook f3. Right, so there is another funny line with knight g5. Oh, wait a second, I think it was here. Bishop c5, all you need to know is additional line knight g5, knight h6, take, queen h5. So you can see this is not really a gambit anymore. White is recapturing the piece on c5. So now you simply play g6, queen c5, and now very important move to know, d5. White cannot take because of rook e8 check. Queen d5 I even don't remember. You can just take and knight b4 I guess. Threatening 4 can take. And after short castle, d takes on e4, c3, rook e8. This is all more or less forced line, which gives black an excellent game. Check first. I mean, white has compensation. Black king is sort of weak, but black still has an extra pawn. Check first. Queen d5. Queen d5, I don't remember, to be honest. Queen d5 check. What does it change? Just king g7 here and still... I think it's still... I guess I can still play d5. What does it change? The king is feeling more secure here on g7 than on f7. So for example, something like short castle, d takes, c3. Maybe there's even d3. No. Yagan, I don't think it's here. I don't think it's here. But anyway, you can choose to play this, or you can choose to play knight the main line of knight f6. Scotch gambit is interesting line, but it shouldn't pose you any real trouble. So either knight f6 with the lines I showed, but I think bishop c5 is just a simpler continuation. Okay, let's move on. See what else we have got. I hope I'm not doing this too quick. Okay, here we go. The Cochrane gambit. The Cochrane gambit. What is the Cochrane gambit? Yeah, I guess we'll look at it from black's perspective. So e4, e5. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Ostlik nodded costs, yeah. Knight f3, knight f6, the Petrov. Knight e5, they say, boom, knight f7. Knight f7, king f7, d4. I think d4 is not really forcing, but this is the main line. And again, the point is, why white is playing the Cochrane gambit? Imagine a couple of things. The ever solid Petrov. Those of you who have played against the Petrov defense, you know how super solid and super boring it is. And immediately inflict upon your opponent something very sharp, especially in accelerated games. I think it can be a great idea. So this is why knight f7, king f7, d4 gambit was invented, and the immediate knight e4 unfortunately loses. Queen h5 check and queen d5 check is inevitable, but a very nice trap. Yes, because seemingly, wait, what is this? Queen f3 check is just knight f6. Yeah, queen h5 check, g6 is queen d5, and king e7 is queen e2. So this is the point. We cannot do this. But there is a very, very simple setup that you need to know. Again, white's plan is very simple. He wants to play knight c3, maybe f4, put the bishop either here or here, short castle, e5, and generate quite a dangerous attack against this guy who is wandering in the center. So this is why you need to play swift. c5. So this is my suggestion. And the point is, we are destroying the strong center that white has. So for example, white would play d takes on c5. I mean, there are other moves as well, but let's say d takes on c5. Seemingly, we cannot recapture. We still cannot take on e4 because of the same queen d5 idea, but the idea is revealed right now. We play d5. Fantastic move. So d5, we are getting ready to include the bishop into game. And something like e takes on d5 doesn't make much sense because we just take with the bishop. Bishop, I don't know, c2, e4, e2, c4, I don't know. Bishop e2, yeah, just queen d5. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so d5, white cannot really take because bishop c5 will be very powerful. And after e5 is knight g4, a sudden counterattack. Threatening with bishop c5, knight e5, you name it. And it's not clear what white should do here. There was one game between two international masters, played at quite a competitive level. Two Icelandic international masters, Kristjansson against Thorfinnsson. They played b4, knight c6, here, knight e5, here, 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 and it becomes apparent that white does not have enough compensation for the sacrificed material. So this is just a sample line, but again, it's quite easy to remember the principle. Try to destroy white's center as quickly as possible. Immediately if you play d5, this is no good. because white gets a very long-term initiative by playing e5. Now this is a very strong center. So I wouldn't really advise it. And white can play something like bishop d3, short castle, f4, f5. This will look extremely scary. So the difference is we include c5. We take away the support from the d4 pawn. And after d takes, now we play d5. So now you understand the difference. There is no pawn on d4. We are threatening these two moves. And if at any given time white should play bishop c4 check, now this is the moment when you play d5. Take, but never, never take on d5 with the knight. Now this pin would kill you. Just play simple bishop d6, or, by the way, there's also some b5 funny ideas. b5, bishop b5, queen d5, I don't know. Hi, Super Viney. But the simplest idea is at every given time, manage to put the pawn on d5, blockade with the bishop on d6, and for example, should white play d takes on c5, just give a check. Here, queen c5, I don't know where the bishop is going, something like bishop b3, rook e8. Look at the position. You have excellently positioned pieces. You have very nice blockade, very nice knight. The bishop is gonna, I'm sorry, not on g3. Bishop g4 is gonna come out. Knight e7, knight e5, knight b6, something. These pawns, they represent the sacrificed piece. Do you think it's worth it? Is it worth for white to sacrifice a piece, as white was sacrificing a piece, to go for a very dangerous initiative? Here, it seems that actually it's black who is calling the shots. So this is the reason why c5 is so important. I won't obviously cover every single possible continuation here. Maybe there's c3. Maybe there's d5. Yeah, d5 closes all of the action. d5 is just knight e4, by the way. There's no queen h5, queen d5 anymore. Maybe there's c3. I guess we just open, and I don't know. Maybe play something like, maybe bishop e7. With the idea to meet bishop c4 with d5, e takes bishop d6. Maybe this is not the most accurate idea, but again, we are happy to sacrifice the pawn on d5 and position the bishop on d6. c5, bishop c4, I think I already showed it, Sombrero. You just play d5. d5, e takes, bishop d6. That's it. Short castle, and I guess simply knight bd7. In Blitz, yeah, Jägen, you can play this. This is a funny line. In Blitz, you can play whatever you want. And if black does not know how to respond, black is in trouble, because Cochrane Gambit is very, very precise. I mean, you're going directly at the throat of your opponent. So if he doesn't know how to respond, he is in trouble. But I imagine somebody who is playing the Petrov, he should be aware of the Cochrane Gambit. Alrighty, let's move on and check out what we have got. Instead of the Cochrane Gambit, there is a... You play this with black? Rook f8 or rook e8, maybe. Oh, listen, wait a second. There's my cat in the room. I'm gonna throw him out. I just sacrificed my cat. Cat's Gambit. Alrighty. Now, if you're talking about the animals, the next gambit is the Elephant Gambit. Do you know what that is? By the way, how many of you know what is the Elephant Gambit? It's quite interesting, actually. If you don't know what to do against it, for Blitz, perfect. So what is the elephant gambit? Let me upload the stuff. So the I'm sorry, the elephant gambit. Yeah, so e4, e5, knight f3, d5. Boom. No. Elephant gambit is not the worst gambit. It's okay. I'll show you how very easy to misplay this as white. Now, after d5, what would you do if you don't know? Yeah, this is the elephant gambit. Seemingly, e takes on d5 because after knight e5, bishop d6, you're playing some sort of a Petrov, right? d4, d takes on e4. Seemingly, black is doing okay, but we are going to return to this line. So the other alternative is to take on e4. With the idea that queen d5, we play knight c3, we play d4, and we are doing just fine. Here black plays e4, queen e2, not queen e7, but knight f6, knight c3. Here we sacrifice a pawn. I mean, who is we? Black. Black sacrifices the pawn. Knight e4, castle. I assume you have to take, right? Okay, maybe there is also a d3 move. Yeah, maybe there was a d3. But d3 is knight e5, f5. You still need to understand what is this. Especially when you're playing blitz and all that matters is the initiative. So knight f6, d4, bishop e3. Does it look simple to you? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. It looks that black is controlling the initiative. However, computer calmly announces that this is simply extra pawn for white. I don't know, but from afar, this looks quite scary. So this line is completely playable, of course, but there is a simpler approach. If your opponent is playing the elephant gambit, you simply play knight e5 again. I imagine that d takes on e4 is dangerous. I did not check it really. I think it's bishop c4. Yeah, bishop c4. No, this is in trouble. Queen d4 shouldn't work. Queen d4. Take here. There's many moves. Even knight c4. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay, so the point is, after knight e5, bishop d6, d4 takes, you can lead the game by force to a simpler, better game. You just play bishop c4. Yeah, again, very, very similar. Bishop c4. And unless your opponent wants to suffer big time with knight h6, he has to take. Now you play queen h5. Very easy line, by the way. That's a scholar's mate. The second threat is here. Queen d4 is bad. Check. Check. Take. With a threatening discover check, bishop e6 and take some material. So black is suffering here. I think there was even queen f7, queen b3 ideas at some point. So this is bad. The king is walking. So what black can do? He has to play queen e7. Take, take, take. And that's it. That's all you need to know about elephant gambit. Black is suffering here. So it's much better position for white. You don't need to know nothing. You don't need to know all of these complex lines where black is sacrificing the pawn and he has this attack. There is no attack. So knight c6 here, bishop f5 here. Very easy. Long castle, you just take the pawn here. Knight e7 here. Knight g6, sacrifice temporarily the pawn here. And again, you just want to play rook h2 e1, just grab this pawn. Or maybe knight b5 at the right time. This pawn is losing by force. Maybe there was even another possibility here instead of all of this. After knight e7, Yeah, I think there was also knight b5 as well. So you got to choose. So all you need to know is this very little trick. After elephant gambit, you just take on e5 right away, play d4, play bishop c4, play queen h5, and force simply their middle game. That's it. All right. We are closing the elephant gambit. Let's move on to something more serious. The Vienna Gambit. What is the Vienna Gambit? The capital city of Austria. I don't know really the history why it was called as the Vienna Gambit. I would assume after an Austrian player. So e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, f4. This is the Vienna Gambit. The idea is very simple. If you don't know what to do, maybe a championship. Yeah, I don't know. So the idea is e takes on f4. White is simply playing e5. There is no squares for the knight, and you have to go back. So something like knight g8 and d4. Oh, wait, not d4. I think it's knight f3, then d4, then bishop f4, short castle, there's the f file open. It is very close to King's Gambit. We are also gonna have King's Gambit. I'm not forgetting such a classic. Yeah, it feels like some sort of a version of the King's Gambit, and it really makes sense to have the same setup that you're playing against Vienna Gambit and the same setup you're playing against Vienna, because they can get their rising positions, they can transform to either Vienna Gambit or King's Gambit. High passed pawn. Yeah, it's excellent. I'm right now doing the... Which bootcamp is it? Number 17? I don't remember. Yeah, about 50 most popular gambits. This is gambit number... Which is it? Number 6. Yeah, this is gambit number 6. So we have some very, very big gambits upcoming, which you should know how to meet them. So, not this way. Yeah, not this way. Of course, we are not going to play e takes on f4. So all you need to know is just one move. d5. That's it. That's it. So d5, which is also going to be one of the suggestions what to play against the King's Gambit right away. You immediately counter-strike the center. Something like d6, I'm sorry, d6 or knight c6, all of this is too slow. Sicilian French, no, I did not cover it. Listen, passed pawn. I checked the list of the gambits, and it was like 100 gambits. I had to choose. I did not cover them, but I did cover some. I am covering some quite important ones. So after f4, d5. After white takes here, Falk beer. Does it have anything to do with beer? No? No, not Staunton Gambit as well. Yeah, maybe I should have included some Dutch defense gambits as well. So e takes on d5 is has something to do, again, some typical ideas of the King's Gambit. You take on f4. However, there is a possibility go for a counter-attack with e4 and just play something like c6, knight c6, bishop c5, make this king look weird. So after d5, e takes on d5, just take here on the 4. That's it. No, there is cat's gambit. I invented it, didn't you see? I threw my cat out of the room. It was right there. I sacrificed my cat. Yeah, again. Okay, and again the idea is you just want to take on d5. At any given time, if white is playing bishop b5, you just play c6. That's it. Have no idea is to take this pawn on d5. If white wants to keep it, you are not looking at it. For example, what was it? Bishop b5, simply play c6. D takes, knight c6, d4. I don't remember, I didn't check this line. I think it's bishop d6. Bishop d6, knight f3, short castle, then h6, g5. Yeah, wait for the queen's gambit. It's the last one. For a purpose. Yeah, so d5. Again, e takes on d5, you can choose between e4, but I think the simplest one is take here. But the main line is f takes on e5. You take it here. Knight f3. I just play bishop e7. Just take. Just develop normally the pieces. Make a long castle, nothing to worry about at all. So actually the modern reputation of the Vienna Gambit, so it's not really a gambit, I'm not sure if it's even Vienna, is people play here g3. This is much more popular, but this is not a gambit anymore. So g3, d5, takes, bishop g2, just take it here, bishop d6, short castle, enjoy a good game. That's it. It's equal. It's equal there. There's nothing for white. That's all you need to know. There is no rook b8, the rook b1, no threats, no nothing. If d5 after bishop e6, Migar, to which line do you refer? So f4, d5. Wait, takes. Migat, I don't understand. To which line do you refer? Bishop e6, we play a6. I want to answer your question, but I don't understand to which line you're referring to. Again, e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, f4, d5. Maybe there's something else like d3. Yeah, I did not really check it. Yeah, I guess you just take it here. e5 and knight g4. Yeah, doesn't strike me as a dangerous position. With the knight on c6 and bishop on b5. Ah, wait a second. Okay. I got it. So here, takes. I think it was bishop b5, c6, takes, d4, bishop d6. You mean here d5? Yeah, a6, of course. That's the traditional idea. Otherwise, we're losing a piece. Bishop a4 is, I guess, b5. Knight b5, takes, queen a5. Doesn't work. So there's the check. There's a check on the king on e1. You're taking the bishop. Of course, white doesn't have to do this, but maybe he can play something like... Yeah, you're welcome. Takes, and... But this king is feeling very risky here. So I just want to play short castle, rook e8, and just go checkmate this guy. Queen b6, something. No. I don't want to play this position as white. I think there was some old lines here. Trying to remember. Knight f3, bishop e7. Yeah, I think there was also d3. d3, takes, and just make a castle. c5, knight c6, good position. All right, let's move on to the gambit number 7. Gambit number 7 is the Danish or the so-called Nordic gambit. I don't know actually what is more appropriate. Danish or Nordic? I mean, Danish are Nordic, right? Is a trade between queens to cancel. Depends. Super Winy, it depends. It really depends. I cannot give you such a generic answer to everything. What gambits I've covered? Yeah, let me check. I covered Evans Gambit, Latvian Gambit, Scotch Gambit, Cochrane Gambit, Elephant Gambit, Vienna Gambit. Now we have Danish or the Nordic Gambit. I will have Urusov or the Ponziani Gambit. I wasn't really sure how to properly title it. Then we have, I'm sorry, I just had to include this, Halloween Gambit. For some reason, I felt I had to include this. Then we have Smith-Morra Gambit, Philidor counter-gambit, Budapest Gambit, Bellon Gambit, and the last ones remain secret. Okay, it's no really big secret anyway. I guess I already told you. It's King's Gambit and Queen's Gambit as the last. It depends. Accepted or declined. But we are gonna have Queen's Gambit. Don't let me spoil you already. So the Nordic or the Danish Gambit is e4, e5, d4, e takes e3. This is it. And it really depends how black is responding here. Now, if you're playing some blitz game and you don't want to get into trouble very quickly, so all you do is just play d5. So what do you need to study? Just play d5, give up this pawn. No, you don't need to play d3, just play d5. That's it. d5. Queen d4 is nothing, you just take it here. This is not working. There's some very minor compensation, but with the queens off the board, there is no knight c3, knight b5, knight d5. By quick long castle, this is not a dangerous position. So if white takes queen e4, okay, it's just equal. And after d5, e takes. Now you simply play knight f6. That's it. That's all you need to know. I did not even write anything else. So you just want to take on d5 with the knight or queen, depends on the situation. Something like c4. I guess you could just give a check here. Short castle, c6 something. This is not great for white. However, if you're looking for adventure, you can take. You can take it. You can always take it. There's nothing wrong about this. And now white has a choice. He can go for the, what was the title again? The Nordic Gambit, bishop c4. You know, I'm mixing it always. I don't understand. At which moment starts the Danish Gambit, at which moment ends the Nordic Gambit, or the same with Urusov Gambit and the Ponziani Gambit. So again, with the Smith-Morra Gambit, so I guess this is why they just included it together, called it Smith-Morra Gambit. I'm always mixing it up. So after bishop c4, the idea is white is ready to sacrifice 2 pawns. I have a very quick attack. And the greedy player will be punished here. And all you need to know here is the so-called Schlechter's defense, which is d5, give up 1 pawn, knight f6, seemingly, oops, yeah, all these names, I know. Seemingly black has lost a queen, except there's a check. Take. And I don't remember, I think it was rook e8. That's it. It's equal position. Just play it. So you have 2 pawns at the queen side, white has 2 pawns at the king side, you have opposite bishops. The better player wins. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. After d takes on c3, there is knight c3. Now this line is more tricky, to be honest. So knight c3, d6, bishop c4. You need to play very, very accurately here. For example, knight f6 already feels like a mistake, because white just plays e5. e5 with the idea the same of bishop f7. There's not going to be any bishop b4 check this time. And queen e7, knight f3, short castle, knight g5. This looks super, super dangerous. Although computer says, chill, it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to venture this on this position, especially when playing accelerated time control games. So the most accurate response here is knight c6, not to allow e5. And after knight f3, what was here? The line? I think it was knight f6, queen b3, queen d7. Blah. You know, somehow black holds this together, but I have a feeling that white is calling the shots here, although knight f5 is a threat. Again, very similarly like in the Evans Gambit. So white cannot keep this very strong pressure on the diagonal and has to play something like queen c2. After knight c6 f4 again? Which line? Which line is it again? Knight c6 f4. I don't follow. I don't follow. Ah, you mean here? Here f4. I'll tell you honestly, I have never even analyzed this line. I mean, why should I? Right? If you're seeking for some thrill, sure, you can go for this. I mean, white is controlling the initiative. Again, the simplest remedy for all of this is just play d5. Just forget it. Just play d5. Understand that position is equal. And after e takes, you have a choice between queen d5, between knight f6. By the way, queen d5, c takes, white is already by force playing a position with the isolated queen's pawn. But again, knight f6 is simpler. But if you're looking for adventure, just play d takes on c3. Okay, let's check the next one. And the next one is the Urusov Ponziani Gambit. I don't know. Yeah, d takes is an adventure. I totally agree with you there. I don't know what is the most appropriate title. Does anybody know? I don't understand, because I checked this. It was referred to as the Ponziani opening, and then at some moment it switched to the Urusov Gambit. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care. Yeah, you can call it whatever you want as long as you know the ideas. So what is again the Urusov Ponziani Gambit? Too bad there isn't my student here from the Ultimate Sensei. At least he would have written something in the chat already. Michael. He goes by the nickname Ponziani Master, so I could ask him a thing or two about this line. So after e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, d4. That's it. That's it. Of course, black does not have to play knight f6, but knight f6 is the most logical move. Knight f6, d4. Now this is quite a tricky line. E takes on d4, knight f3. Any e5, almost by default, are almost always met by d5. So if you're playing this from black, this is the maneuver that you have to know. e5 is met by d5. Why bishop c4? Because this leads to a gambit. There are people who are avoiding, for example, the Petrov. Knight f3, knight f6, this is the Petrov. So bishop c4 is something else. By the way, I did not check bishop c4. Bishop c4 is still knight. Oh, wait a second, there was this gambit as well. I forgot to check it. Knight c3. Takes and takes. I forgot to check this gambit. And the best move here was f6 actually. This I remember from my childhood. f6, g6, bishop g7, d6, and somehow black holds. Who knows the title of this gambit? I didn't check it. I mean, there's so many gambits, and I haven't seen this line for ages. So this particular gambit, yeah, knight e5. Wait a second. So what was the line again? So knight f3. I mean, I can always play knight c6, of course, right? And then go for this line. But knight e4, knight c3 takes. Yeah, there's knight g5, a big threat. f6, knight e5 is bad because of queen e7. And queen h5, goodbye. You cannot take. This is a pin. So it looks ridiculous, but somehow it works. Short castle. I don't remember, was it d6 or g6? I think this was the main line. d6, knight h4, g6, f4, queen e7, f5, queen g7. You know, I last checked this line when I was 10. Something like that, 10 years old. So I was playing this in my childhood. I remember this was simply good for black. And now I'm checking with the engines after something 25 years. It still works. So I guess it's simply not a good gambit. But if somebody can please, yeah, if somebody can please write me in the chat. Ah, wait a second, there is the title at chat.com. Frankenstein, Dracula, Boden Kiezeritsky Gambit. You got it, Frankenstein, Dracula. How appropriate. How appropriate for the Halloween. Yeah, thank you, Jegen. But anyway, we started to talk about the Urusov Ponziani gambit. And the line here is d4, e takes, and knight f3. Again, remember, e5 is always d5, always. Very scary. You know, again, Limadado, it's a very simple approach. Nobody is forcing you. If you don't like, don't play. It's very simple, right? I mean, you don't have to play gambit. There's always a way out, almost always. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure every single gambit can be declined, and black or white, depends on the situation, is getting a good game. No, I mean, gambits can be scary if you don't know what to do. So after d4, e takes, knight f3. Again, if you are looking for adventures, and we are looking for adventures, right? We take the pawn. Of course, we are not afraid. If you are looking for a simple way to get out after the opening, and your opponent, and I mean you, are playing a blitz game, just play, what was the line? d5. That's it. This is the ultimate problem solver. That's it. Just give up the pawn back. And after e takes, just give a check. c3. Yet another check. Just take. Castle. That's it. Nothing to worry about. This is always a way. You accept a gambit in the beginning. And like I mentioned in the beginning, you are finding a suitable time to give it back. You don't have to keep the pawn at all costs. Yeah, Halloween Gambit, actually, I think it's the next. Wait a second. It's the next. I mean, I was so sure what is going to be today's topic, because we talked already about this the previous bootcamp, and somebody told me, I don't remember who, that what about this gambit? What about that gambit? And I thought, wait a second, now this is an excellent topic. And then there's the Halloween coming. When was the Halloween? Today or tomorrow? I mean, in Latvia we don't celebrate Halloween really, but I remember it was end of October, right? Yeah, I mean, I apologize, I don't really follow so much. It's American festival, but tomorrow. Okay, I see, tomorrow. Yeah, so this is where we are also gonna have Halloween Gambit. Yeah, I thought so, it's the last day of October. Yeah, I mean, I apologize, I don't know it so well. Halloween or Halloween, it really depends again. And again, but if you're seeking adventure in the, what was it again, Urusov, Ponziani, whatever Gambit, we take on e4. That's it. Again, we want to play d5 next move. So this forces White's hand. He has to play queen d4. Queen d4, knight f6 is easy. We want to play d5, the next move, close this bishop. Again, White has to play knight c3. Bishop g5 doesn't change much. We are going to play bishop e7, knight c3, and the same idea of c6, d5. That's it. So if White plays knight c3, c6, you know, I checked the line in the database. For some reason, much more popular today is this line. I think it was knight c6, queen h4, and bishop e7. For some reason. Yeah, and then black just plays something like d6, bishop e6, very slowly, carefully crawling out from the hostilities. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is also playable. I noticed this trend that some good GMs are playing this. And I checked, what is wrong with the c6, d5? And I couldn't understand. I don't think there's nothing wrong. And the engines confirm it's fine. So I'll leave this choice up to you. If you're looking for adventures. So we just play c6. Bishop g5, bishop e7, long castle, d5, rook e1. Now, this looks scary. I do agree. Look at these pieces. I mean, here's a rook, here's a rook. There's something threatening here big time. But all of this is refuted by a very simple move, bishop e6. Nothing is threatening anymore. As long as you don't make short castle. If you want to finish the game very quickly, of course, you can make short castle and probably resign already. Yeah, maybe somehow you can survive this, but this looks super scary. Maybe knight e4 is working. I don't know. This is not the point of this line and today's bootcamp. Just don't make a short castle. Very simple rule. So simply knight d7, knight c5, and I don't know, play something like queen d6, long castle. It looks okay. Yeah, maybe something like bishop f5, long castle. Ooh. Computer says b4, GG. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But again, guys, you don't have to do this if you are concerned. Just play a very simple d5 and that's it. d5, e takes, bishop b4. Right. Okay. So let's move on. So Urusov or the Ponziani Gambit is quite interesting. Actually, I would recommend this for some studies and some accelerated games. Might be interesting. But the next one, the next one is the real deal, guys. It's the most ridiculous opening the Gambit so far. So the Halloween Gambit. Since tomorrow we are having Halloween. It bears a different title originally. It was something, I don't remember what was it. Yeah. And somebody renamed it as a Halloween because of this reason. It looks so scary. So here we go. Knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, and knight e5. So Halloween Gambit is sacrificing a knight for a central pawn and win a lot of tempos. Now let's look at this position from black's perspective. If you really want to invent something, you can invent counter anti-Halloween gambit by playing knight e4. I don't really know if somebody really has played it so far. I'm kidding here. So of course you have to take knight e5. After knight takes on e5, d4, knight g6, e5, and again, if you are feeling threatened, just give it back. I mean, nobody's forcing you to keep this knight. Just play c6 with the idea to play d5. That's it. E takes, queen f6. What is to know here? Just play a normal position. However, if you want to keep this guy, let's play knight g8, bishop c4, threatening with some big threats. f4, f5, maybe somehow get to this f7 square. So again, we employ the same idea I already talked about in the Cochrane gambit, is you give up part of your material advantage. Again, the same idea. We happily accept a gambit, but we don't mind giving it back, or at least part of the material advantage, at right circumstances. So we play d5 to win time. And after bishop d5, knight e7, I don't know where the bishop should go. Bishop b3, knight f5. That's it. You're enjoying an excellent game. Knight e2, c5. Who is calling the shots here? The gambits against the GMs. I think they work against anybody, provided there is a surprise element. If there is a surprise gambit, it works. Of course, if the opponent knows everything, for example, you're playing the Cochrane gambit, and the opponent just knows everything. He studied the Cochrane gambit book. I mean, that's it. You're a goner. That's it. I mean, it doesn't work. Maybe you'll make a draw somehow. But if you manage to prepare a gambit by surprise and your opponent doesn't know it, or he was preparing against you, that you'll play something else, and suddenly you play this Halloween gambit, he doesn't know what to do, it might just well work against very good opponents. Okay, enough of this ridiculous Halloween gambit, but there's nothing else really. I mean, it's very straightforward. So knight e5, knight c6, d4. So knight c6 is not so clear, by the way. Knight c6, d5, knight e5, 4. So I don't know. Maybe still knight g6, e5, knight g8. Yeah, it looks ugly, but computers say it's playable. What I'm suggesting makes more sense. Knight g6, e5, knight g8, just play d5 next move. That's it. So my suggestion is tomorrow everybody plays the Halloween gambit, okay? Alrighty, now let's move on. Why not? I mean, when else you're gonna play Flush Steel? When else? Why not play Halloween Gambit at the Halloween? I mean, not on Christmas, right? Okay, so the next one is Smith-Morra Gambit. Finally. But you know, it's so funny about the Smith-Morra Gambit. I can close it in 1 minute. There is a super simple remedy. It's really laughable. I mean, if I accept the Smith-Morra Gambit, then it's more fun. However, if you don't accept, all you need to know is some of the lines in the Sicilian Alapin, and that's it. Actually, I already did a bootcamp about Sicilian Alapin. So what is Sicilian Alapin? So that you understand what I'm talking about. So e4, c5, c3, knight f6, e5, knight e5, that's it. Sicilian Alapin. This was my previous bootcamp. You can check the video archive at my YouTube channel. By the way, it still should be available also on the Twitch page, because I did it... When did I do it? 2 weeks ago, something like that, 3 weeks ago. I don't remember. My video archive remains for 60 days, as far as I remember. So Smith-Morra Gambit. What is Smith-Morra Gambit? A d4, c takes, c3. Now, if we are playing the Alapin, just play knight f6 and wave to your opponent. Goodbye, Smith-Morra Gambit. That's it. No more. So after e5, knight e5, we are playing a classic Alapin. And you don't need to study Smith-Morra at all. So I could already close this right here. So you can write the entire book, how to play the Smith-Morra Gambit. I'm just going to play knight f6 and that's it. I don't need to know all of this. And this is a super popular approach for serious players who don't like to study too many lines. For example, again, I showed you this line in the Evans Gambit. I mean, nobody's stopping you. Study, buy a book, study entire lines, entire systems, what to do, remember the precise moves. But for example, if you just remember 2 moves in the Evans Gambit, bishop e7, knight a5, that's it. You're getting a great position. Here, you just know knight f6 and that's it. You don't need to study anything else. However, I'm going to recommend you something. So you don't think that I'm just avoiding this discussion. I am playing also Smith-Morra Gambit with black. I'm accepting. No. We take the pawn. We take the pawn. It's a free pawn. Let's take the pawn. If you're seeking adventure, I don't want my opponent to let off the hook. I want, like, send a signal. I'm not afraid of you. I know you are playing Smith-Morra, but I also know it. And I'm not afraid. And assuming this is not some very fast-paced blitz game, then we can absolutely play this. Because I won't be forced to memorize some very long lines. So after knight c3, knight c6, knight f3, d6, bishop c4, e6. All of these lines, I mean all of these moves are more or less forced. And after short castle, I suggest to play knight g7. Not knight f6. Because knight f6 is not so clear. After knight f6, I think it was queen e2, bishop e7, rook d1, e5 is threatening. So probably you have to play e5. Then there's some b4 at some moment. So you really need to understand all of these nuances. Wait a second, I think it was h3, short castle, and b4. Yeah, I think it was like this. And still, by the way, excellent position for black, by the way. I don't think this is any dangerous line whatsoever. However, I think knight g7 is more tricky because we want to play knight g6. For example, white is playing bishop g5. Makes sense, right? Because instead of the bishop g5, I think there was also knight b5, knight g6, bishop g5. Now queen d7, super accurate move. Drive away. And that's it. You're finishing the development. And the pawn remains. Are you not forcing yourself to play e6, e5 by making very committal weaknesses on d5? So if white plays bishop g5, wait a second, yeah. a6 has to be played. Now here is a typical mistake. h6, knight b5. Goodbye. You're done. This is it. You're losing already. So knight b5 cannot be missed. I mean, h takes, knight d6, this is game over. That's it. So you have to play a6, very accurate. Rook c1, or maybe queen e2, I don't remember what was a more precise move here. h6, if the bishop ever goes here, you play g5, knight g6, g4, h5, h4. Who is playing for the win here, actually? I really like this position from black. You can think about this bishop on e7, or maybe at the time being it remains on f8, g4, knight e5, bishop d7 are the classical moves. There is nothing for white. And if white doesn't do this, he plays something like after h6, bishop e3, I just finished the development. Yeah, watch out for knight a4. Knight a4, knight b6 or bishop b6 idea. Just play rook b8 just in time. And finish development. That's it. Where's the compensation? Yeah, chat is speechless. Maybe chat is so carried away because of the Halloween gambit. Maybe I should have left it as the last. I know. That was the strategic mistake. I should have left the Halloween gambit as the last one. I know. But as the last one, I have something special. Okay. I have prepared. Yeah. So Morra, Jerome, we are gonna check it. We're gonna check all of the questions that you're gonna ask. If you'll have time, I'm gonna check. I have named 15 gambits. If there's something else that is missing, that is important to check, we are gonna check it. Absolutely. So anyway, this is accepting the Smith-Morra gambit. Play knight g7, play a6, play h6, drive away the bishop, put the rook here, here, here. This is it. I mean, how difficult is this? What do you think? Urusov, we already checked. You missed for 10 minutes. Sorry. You're gonna have to check the archive. Yeah, this is a simple system. I mean, what to study here? Again, if you don't want to seek all of these hostilities, play knight f6. If you're looking for even more simpler ways, just play d5. It also works. d5, e takes. Yeah, I guess queen d5. C takes, and we are playing a classic isolated queen's pawn structure. Who is Robert Englund? I don't know that. Yeah, but this d5 is less convincing. Any questions about the Smith-Morra? I guess not, right? So let's move on. The next one, yeah, maybe I should have included it earlier, is another ridiculous gambit. It's the Philidor counter-gambit. And the story is this. I was playing in some local tournament, and there was a senior player. He played against me. e5, knight f3, d6, d4, f5. I was like, are you serious? I last played this when I was something, again, 10. Really, I was 10, maybe 9. I played this with black. I was like, what I was supposed to play here? And I remember my knowledge of the 9-year-old or 10-year-old back then that this is fishy. Now I'm already a grandmaster and I have to evaluate this again after something like 25 years, and the opinion had not changed. So I just take on e5. Ah, wait a second. Oh, by the way, take on e5 also is possible. Take here, here. But I wasn't so sure because bishop c5 here. Some sort of a gambit. But still, white gets a big advantage. I mean, this knight is trapped, but black does not get enough material for the sacrificed. I mean, not enough compensation for the sacrificed material. But there's a very simple move after this Philidor counter-gambit. Knight c3. Super simple. F takes. Has to be played. Otherwise, everything else is just... What do you do here? I mean, I don't know. Maybe knight of 6. No, knight of 6, you just take it here. That's just bad. Yeah, so F takes, knight e4, d5. Yeah, now knight e5, that's it. I reinvented this at the board. This was a blitz game, I think. Check. Take. Knight f6 is no good. Simply queen e5. This rook falls. Yeah. And now very important. Very important. Check. This rook is falling anyway. King e7 is bishop g5. Check. The king cannot go here. There's always some checkmates. And we still take the rook. And that's it. And after bishop e6, maybe there was something there, but I just forced the game with queen e5. Long castle, g3, bishop h3, white is simply winning. That's it. Line closed. Again, how did it happen? e4, e5, knight f3, d6, d4, f5. Very old line. Knight c3. Take, take, d5. So the big idea is to push the knight away to play e4. Here, queen h5, knight g6, and super acro queen g6. That's it. There's nothing else to check. And when I was playing this game, I was sort of hesitating. Maybe there's something, but I mean, I did calculate all of this during the game. I didn't see nothing. And then I went home and checked with the computer. Yeah, this is just a great line for white. Okay. Next one. Now the next one is... he was a senior player. Not a very strong player, but he said this is how he plays the entire life. So I hope I managed to convince him to play something else. So the next one is going to be the Budapest Gambit. It's... I know, I'm so sorry. I know. I should have been more sensitive. Should have. But the next one is the Budapest Gambit. And actually Budapest Gambit is quite tricky. Quite tricky. And I think it deserves probably a longer discussion. But again, I'm going to offer you a very simple approach. Please correct if I'm wrong. I checked the line. I think this is the super duper simplest approach. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. So d4, knight f6, c4, e5. This is the Budapest Gambit. D takes, knight g4. Of course, we don't want to keep this pawn f4. Because bishop c5, oh dear, about these weaknesses. Something like knight h3, d6, ugh, this looks ugly. Something like takes, maybe even short castle. What is this, right? You're not supposed to play chess like this. So instead of this, we accept the pawn. Have a great lunch, Super Winnie. And now there's a choice. I'm going to show you the difference between these two moves. If you would play knight f3, and knight f3 is a good move. Now you have to understand where this game is heading. Bishop c5, here, knight c6, here, castle here, takes, here, here. Now, when I initially saw this position, I thought this is a very nice, risk-free position for white. Because black is always gonna have eternal problem with c6, d6, this pawn on d6 is sort of weak. That was until I was trying to dig more deep, and I realized that after a5, rook a6, it's not so easy to meet threat rook h6, queen h4. For example, here, 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 d6, super sharp game. And bishop h3 is incoming threat. And of course computer loves this position for white, but it can be misleading. And I was looking for something more simple. And I think I found it. I've seen this also at the GM level. Yeah, really. GMs have beaten GMs others. Also with a5, rook a6. But there's something more simple. I'm suggesting to play bishop f4. And the point is, we are including the bishop into game. And after e3, we are not closing it anymore. So for example, bishop c5. Okay, bishop c5, e3. This is just a bad move. Wait a second, what was it? Knight c6, knight f3. Bishop c5 now is bad. Queen e7. You just play knight c3, knight e5. Now this is a big problem. So bishop b4 is the main. Here, queen e7. And now there's a super duper easy maneuver. a3. It's not the best maybe, but it's the simplest one. Knight e5, knight e5, knight e5. Let's not miss the checkmate. I think it's a great idea not to miss it. e3. Take. And you're playing this position. That's it. Two bishops. What else do you want? I mean, okay, black is super solid. b6, bishop b7, but you can torture your opponent here forever. If you're looking for the minimal advantage, you can already go for this line. I mean, of course, a3 is not mandatory, right? You can play simply e3, knight e5, knight e5, knight e5, bishop e2, and play this position. Yeah, this is also playable, d6, etc., etc., etc. And black is in no time to generate this classical idea to bring the rook to the king side, which is typically the most annoying and most unusual idea in the Budapest Gambit. So, what else is there for black? After knight c6, after bishop f4, there's also g5, but g5 is nothing. Bishop g3, here, 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 h4, takes, 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 and all you need to know is not to rush with a take, but simply e3. That's it. Simply better position. Knight c3, I don't know, maybe queen c2, maybe long castle. Looks super solid, super nice position for white. And after bishop f4, there is very little room for improvising. And also a common interesting idea for black is sometimes to sacrifice pawn by this. For example, I think it was this line, e4, d6. Wasn't it the Bellon Gambit? I forgot the title. Could be quite tricky. So takes, bishop d6, black plays very quickly short castle, and white is lagging behind in development. So this move, bishop f4, simply solves this problem as well, if it is a problem at all. All right, any questions about the Budapest Gambit? I guess it's super simple. e5, d. Okay, there's knight e4 again, some weird move. Knight e4, I don't remember. Maybe simply knight f3. Knight f3, e3. Knight e5 annoys you more. Knight e4. I didn't check it, to be honest. But knight e4 doesn't strike me as a very serious continuation. Yeah, but what about simple knight f3? Knight f3, knight c6, and even e3. There's nothing to worry about. As long as you're not missing any direct checkmates with queen h4 or something, whatever is this idea of knight e4. I mean, knight e4 can work only as a surprise blitz. Fajarovic, yeah, something like that. Yeah, but need to know what? I just play knight f3. I just invented this move on the board. So as long as I'm not blundering anything, again, remember the principle. I'm ready to give up the pawn if I want. I mean, this pawn on e5 is nice, but I am not gonna hold on to it with my dear life. So again, this is the best approach against various gambits. You take the pawn, you take the material, and if necessary, you just give it back. You just give it back at the right time. Okay. Now, the next one, so which is number 13. Yeah, listen guys, we're ready to number 13. On d6, yeah, I guess I take. Are you referring to, wait a second, are you referring here? Yeah, I just take. Bishop d6, e3. Bishop e2, knight d2. Looks super solid. I mean, not necessarily the best, but looks super solid. That's the last question. How to counter the queen's gambit? Don't rush. Don't rush. Yeah, okay. So the next one is the Bellon gambit. Oh, wait a second. That's not Bellon gambit. After the famous Spanish grandmaster Bellon gambit, which is c4, e5, knight c3 here, knight f3, e4, knight g5. Yeah, that's Anna's dad. Yeah, super nice guy, super friendly. I don't know him really so well personally. I've talked to him very briefly, super nice. So, as well as, of course, Pia as well. Super nice lady. So, knight g5, b5. Actually, it's a fantastic line. If white is completely caught off guard, then black is taking over. So the idea is revealed here. If I take it, yeah. So knight b5, yeah, this g5, b5 ideas, they work in various mirror variations. Knight b5, h6, this knight has to go here. c6 and d5. Now look at this position, what black managed to achieve for just one pawn. I mean, although it is probably playable, c takes, d4 something, but definitely black is enjoying a very good compensation. The same goes for c takes on b5. Black just plays d5. And again, is threatening to play h6, then a6. Super gambit. What can I tell? And knight e4 as well. Is knight e4 just take? Wait a second, there was some tricky line. I tried to remember. Wait a second. Yeah, now I remember. b3 was b4. Oh, this was super great. b3, b4, knight e4, h6. Boom! Whoops. Super nice. So I guess I'll need to do another another bootcamp about very nice tricks, unexpected gambits or opening tricks. Might be interesting topic. The most precise move after b5 is d3. And only after takes here, we take on b5. Because there is no h6 anymore. And white keeps a better position. So it's something like, I don't remember, I think it was h6 here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it, shouldn't I? Cody exedoc. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I could put it for sale as well. Okay, thank you. Bishop e2. And there are some ideas, d5, bishop d6, short castle, bishop b7, a6. I mean, this is still playable for black. It is. I even forgot about this line. I was once thinking about how to play this line in some blitz events, because there's some people who are playing consistently this line. Knight c3, knight f3, and this e4, knight g5, b5 is just in your face, like playing this b5. And if he doesn't know, it's super difficult to pick up this move b3. Or, by the way, b3 is easy mistake. Yeah, b3, b4, that's it. Bye-bye. Wave hand. Alright, so again, the Bellon gambit is quite fun. But after knight f3, e4, knight g5, b5, all you need to know is just one move, d3. That's it. Alrighty, now, where were we? Number 14. Now let's get the royal stuff. First we are gonna talk about King's Gambit. The classic. The only one. Where the chess romance started. You know, I checked Wikipedia. There's so many sub-gambits. This gambit, that gambit, this kind of gambit. Listen, no, I'll check it actually. Wait a second. Check it very briefly, so that you see what I'm talking about. Why is it not showing? Okay. And there was this King's Gambit. No, check it, check it. All of these gambits, they belong to King's Gambit. Adelaide Gambit, Algar Gambit, Berting Gambit, Bishop's Gambit, Blackburn Gambit, Breyer Gambit, Brian, Counter Gambit, Carrera Gambit, Charosa Gambit, Cunningham Gambit, double. All of this is King's Indian. There's even Wild Muzio Gambit. There's Rice Gambit. There's the simple Muzio Gambit, not even Wild Muzio. There's so many gambits here. I was just, what? Are you serious? Yeah, so listen. The Muzio. Okay. So I'm not gonna talk about all of this. Otherwise, I would need to make a separate bootcamp about every single King's Indian Gambit. That's not my today's ambition. No. GMs, they value their time, Dora. They value their time. And nobody is going to study all of this if there is a simple solution. So, of course, f4 was pretty much the very first gambit to test it and play it at the highest level. Yeah, accepting the gambit, you're absolutely right, is the most accurate. E takes on f4 is the best move. Okay, thank you to here, Jagan Falkbeer. If somebody would remind me, I will check it. Of course, I'll try to answer all of the suggestions about which lines I should else check. There is also the Jerome Gambit. I'll check it. But e takes on f4 is the most principled choice. Again, if you don't want to study all of this, there's a very simple reply. Just play d5, no surprise. If your opponent is By the way, f takes on e5 loses by force. Queen h4, goodbye. This is losing by force. I think there's even a checkmate, by the way. Yeah. So this doesn't work. E takes on d5. Just take it here. And again, the same idea from the Vienna gambit applies. Knight f3, knight f6, bishop b5 check, c6, d takes, knight c6. Short castle, by the way, is a mistake. d4, bishop d6, short castle, short castle. I don't know about how forced is this line, but something like c3, h6, g5. Super, super interesting. And unbalanced the game. So you can do all of this, of course. If you don't want to study this, there is also the lazy person's approach. You play knight f6. And this is great, because after knight c3, you already know from the Vienna gambit the move d5. d6. Now that is the super lazy person's approach. I'm right now talking about just a lazy person's approach. No, not d6. So knight f6, I just want to show you this trick. Knight f6, f takes, knight e4. There's this threat. Knight f3, knight g5. Fantastic move, by the way. And I've played it so many times already. And every single time I play this, my opponent's like, what? What is knight g5? d4, takes, queen h4 check. So that's a double attack. Queen f2, take, here, d6. That's it. Okay, I mean, black is slightly worse because of the pawn structure. About 15 years ago, I was playing on Pledge's server. And I was playing this line against Nigel Short maybe 30 times. Yeah, I was playing quite a lot against him back then. I don't know if Nigel actually plays actively today, but he was specifically insisting to play against me the King's Gambit, and I was insisting to play knight f6 all the time, and we were battling out this particular endgame all the time. I mean, it is playable. Why not? Super simple. And I was getting good scores against Nigel. So after f4, knight f6 is possible, and something like d3, I guess you just take it here. And there is no e5 because of knight d5. Knight d5, d6, knight e3. Yeah, doesn't strike me as something white should be aiming for. And bishop f4, I guess I just strike in the center. Or maybe not. Oh, okay, knight c6 and then d5, yeah. Okay, but let's slightly return to the main move, which is e takes on f4. Now there's something funny, which is that this is the best move. There's some funny lines. You can check the long list of those gambits, our predecessors who were inventing King's Gambit from scratch. So many crazy lines. Knight f3. You can still play d5. Nobody's stopping you. So d5, e takes, and if you're so lazy, just take with the queen. Completely fine. But I think knight f6 is better. There is more challenging move g5, and if you're looking for adrenaline, bishop c4, g4, short castle, well, you've got it. You've got your dose of adrenaline right here. White sacrificed an entire piece, and your king is oh so weak. If you want, you can play this. But there's a simpler approach. After g5, bishop c4, you can always play bishop g7, Don't play g4, but just play d6. Computer says it's great. It's great for black. Then we're this gambit with g5, h4, g4, knight e5, inviting again some various hostilities with knight f7. But again, you just play d6, knight g4, and knight f6. I think it was like this with the second knight f6. Yeah, takes. Very simple position to play. So as you can see, there's so many ways how to tackle King's Indian. None of them are giving you trouble. Actually, I remember also this line. After e takes on f4, Garry Kasparov played against Sergei Karyakin, wasn't it? In St. Louis. Knight c3. Some years ago. Yeah. Oh, okay, there it is. There's the game, yeah. In St. Louis 2017. Garry Kasparov, he was playing this exhibition match, Blitz Games. I know, Karyakin, can you imagine what he played? He played Queen h4 check, King e2. So this is the big idea, to play knight f3, d4, king f2, bishop c4, you name it. Queen d8. And black is better. The king is walking, the queen gave two checks. I mean, one check, no queen is going back. And black was simply making all of the normal looking moves. And he ended up with a better position. So, yeah, I mean, this is, of course, the most fun way. And treat it like you are a part of a team who is creating a masterpiece. So it's not just your opponent, right? You're creating this stuff together. And sometimes it's like your opponent is taking the gloves off and he wants you to fight, right? And it makes sense to accept it. Because by doing this, if both opponents are very much open to generate something fun, it's going to be fun. If somebody is stopping all the fun, there's not going to be no fun at all. So there's so many ways, but again, g5 is the most principal way. If you're looking for a way out, there is knight f6. There is also early d5. Give up this pawn. Bishop c4. Can I suggest a counter-gambit? Oh, wait a second. b5 is... Ooh, bishop f7. What is this? You wanted some fun? I have no clue what is this. Some random move b5. This is the top choice of the chess.com engine. I don't know what is this. I mean, of course, you don't have to do b5. But play something like knight f6. And again, e5 is going to be met by d5. And we already remember this approach. From Scotch Gambit, from... some other gambit as well. I mean, I was doing the bootcamp today. I already mentioned this e5, d5 passing by maneuver already a couple of times. And yeah, so instead of this, maybe knight c3. Oh, wait a second. I played this against Michael, didn't I? We had a sparring match a couple of days ago. Yeah, I played this. Yeah, and then I realized that knight e4 is queen e2. Right. I remember. But even here, for example, you can still play, by the way, d5. d5. Take with the bishop. Take. And bishop d6. d4. And check. I mean, there's so many ways to improvise. King's Gambits repertoire as such, it's not dangerous, it's fun. And if you want to get out of the opening, there's so many ways you can do it. Accepting e takes on f4 brings a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess I'll do a bootcamp about this at some point. Yeah, tell you all of the funny ideas in the King's Gambit, but mostly they start with G5. Okay, I hope I managed to explain some of the ideas of the King's Gambit. And the final gambit, of course, I'm going to answer the questions about the gambits you are suggesting. The final gambit is, did you guess it already? What do you think is the final gambit? Or maybe I already mentioned it. Do you know what it is? So the final gambit is the Queen's Gambit. And for the Queen's Gambit, my friends, you just go to Netflix and you watch the movie. I mean, did you really honestly expect that I'm gonna cover the entire Queen's Gambit? Of course not. So you just switch on the Netflix, watch this brand new series, Queen's Gambit by Beth Harmon. How she is employing this super nice gambit. And there are even some very nice notable games. I'm right now in the middle of the second episode. I mean, I didn't have so much time to check all of this. And this is the Queen's Gambit. Yeah, super big theory. Of course, I'm not gonna talk about this. Yeah, we cannot counter it, so this is why I left it as a last one, so that you can go to Netflix and check the line yourself. Yeah, listen, guys. Maybe now it's the time to answer your questions. Your questions about those lines. About those extra gambits you would like to check, because now is the time. What was the G-Rom gambit, was it? Can somebody tell me what is the G-Rom gambit? I remember the title, but I don't remember the execution. Somebody gets executed, right? Yeah, Wikipedia entry, but please tell me the moves. Am I supposed now to open the Wikipedia? Can somebody please tell me the moves? Oh! Thank you, Flash of Steel. Okay, here we go. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. What was it again? Bishop c5. Okay. Bishop f7 and knight e5. So this is the G-Rom gambit. So we are gonna investigate this from Black's perspective, I guess. So knight e5. What is the what is to investigate there actually? Is it queen h5? Because everything is losing. Queen h5. I mean, not king e6, king d6. This looks too dangerous, but let's play something like king f8. Queen takes on e5. No, I just know it by name. And even d6. This is ridiculous. This is not serious stuff. I mean, so maybe knight e5, d4. But again, you just take it here and play d6, and that's it. There is a piece missing for a pawn. No. This is bad. So G-Rom gambit is fun maybe when you're drunk or something, I don't know, but... You know, I have a feeling from where this comes from. Does it come from Chessbra? I have a feeling. I have a feeling from which direction it comes from. I knew it. It comes from Chessbra, right? Yeah. Accidentally, I was watching their last stream. At least 5 minutes. Eric and Aman were competing for some whiskey competition or something like that. I mean, this morning, according to Latvian time, it was in Canada probably midnight. And they were taking shots and they were playing some blitz games. I mean, Eric did feel like he was completely wasted, to be honest. But, I mean, I'm not watching it so much. I guess this is when it's appropriate to play Giro. Man likes it. Okay, not surprised there, I guess. Okay, what is else there? I mean, there's Blackmore, Deemer, Gambit. What is it? Colin Cohn. Can you please give me the moves? I don't know the title. I don't recognize it. What is this? D4, D5, E4. D4, D5, E4. Well, my GM's opinion is you have to take the pawn. What's next? Maybe F3? Is it F3? Ah! Now, you already remember, right? You remember this gambit. E4, E5, D4, E takes, C3. The Danish gambit or the Nordic gambit. And I did tell you that you can take on C3 right away, or you can take the lazy person's approach with D5. Now, do you see where I'm aiming at? D4, D5, E4, D takes, F3. Assuming, let me check it by the way. Takes. There's F2 by the way. Takes. Can I do this? Wait, how did this happen? This is something else. Ah, there's no queen and there's no king. Okay, this is something else. I was trying to build up the Schlechter defense from the Danish Nordic gambit. Doesn't work. Okay, so after F3, you can simply play E5. That's it. There's nothing else to know. E5, D5, and yeah, what is this? I mean, white is not even threatening to take because Queen H4 is the check. Yeah. So this is not good. This is not good. E takes on F3. Yeah, I mean, E takes on F3 is not so clear. Yeah, some bishop C4, short castle. Actually, there's some compensation. Definitely. For blitz, absolutely. For classical game, maybe not so much. Any more questions? Yeah, by the way, guys, I want to remind you that tomorrow, as you just saw, this announcement from the Moobot, I will play in the Streamer Battle League, and my very first match will be against San Francisco Mechanics. So if you have the time, there are going to be 3 rating divisions, up to 1,400, then 1,400 to 1,800, then from 1,800 up to 3,000, 3 divisions, 2 rapid games for every single player. And if you have the time, I would be very honored you would come and represent my chess club. So you can find the link if you would click on the link provided by the Moobot bot. Gambit for the Dutch. Oh, yeah, this G4. But what was the title of it? I checked it today. I was checking the Slime Flash of Steel, and I even noticed the title. So G4. Yeah, it has a title, definitely. It's not untitled. I can assure you that, because there was somebody who invented this. So you just take it, of course. H3. The lazy person's approach is to play G3. That's it. G3, takes, and I think it was d5. d5, knight f6, either g6, bishop g7. You don't need to know anything else. But if you want to be principal player, Krejcik, yeah, now I remember. I think it was Krejcik, yeah. So h3, you can play d5. Or even don't play the Dutch, that's even more lazier. So d5, what is the line here? H takes, bishop g4, something like queen d3, knight f6. Doesn't really work. f3, bishop h5. Knight h3, bishop g6. I mean, black is super solid. So the entire idea of the gambit is to sacrifice this pawn. So this is the classical idea, to play knight h3, queen d3, knight g5, take on h7, checkmate on g6, something like this. So this is the classical idea of this gambit. I know it because I played this when I was last 10 years old, something like that. And I've played ever since g3, not even bothering to check it. But like I mentioned, d5 is the principal approach. Yeah, d5, knight f6, take with the bishop, and just think about making a long castle. So it's not really something to be concerned about. Yeah, but flush of steel, you see, again, I think I already mentioned it several times. You shouldn't be afraid to accept gambits. It's okay. It's completely fine to accept gambits because it's giving you more options later. You can try to keep the pawn, or you can give it back at appropriate time. What is Fromm's gambit? No, I didn't cover it. Yeah, of course it depends on time control, of course. When you're playing a bullet, of course I would never take on h3. Why would I? f4, e5. f4, e5. So how to meet it from white? I guess we take it. d6. I don't remember. Yeah, d6 I'm not trying to remember. It was very principled to take. Knight f3, g5. So this is the line you're referring to, right? I remember it very vaguely. I just don't play f4 first move. I remember this idea. Knight f6, okay. g3, g4, knight h4, knight e7. This idea sort of I remember. And the white was always somehow keeping a better position. e4, knight c6. c3 something. Yeah. Yeah, it is sharp. It is sharp. But listen. If you're playing a 4, you're asking already yourself for trouble. So you shouldn't be objecting for a sharp game because you're playing Dutch defense with an extra tempo, right? Because you want to play knight f3, g3, bishop g2, probably the Leningrad system. And if black is going to play d5, this is what you're going to get. Unless, of course, you prefer the classical Dutch. Yeah, so e5 takes. But there is a very simple remedy. So your opponent plays the Fromm. So what do? You play the King's Gambit. Your opponent declines. You play the Vienna Gambit. There's so many gambits to include in one line. Pretty sure there's something else after that as well. Yeah, e4 is the refutation. I mean, on a serious note, you have to take d6. I think you have to take anyway. Knight f3. Okay, I mean I don't know this. Yeah, you do knight f3, yeah, but you're gonna have to take it anyway. Knight f3 takes. Otherwise, black is getting an excellent game. You have to take. Knight e5, bishop d6. Yeah, there's nothing else. Ah, e4. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it is possible. I didn't know this, by the way. I didn't know this. e4, bishop c4, something short castle, some positional approach, right? Yeah, it makes sense, by the way. But there's a simpler approach for you, Flash of Steel, if you like these positions. You can play the first move e4. And you get immediately the rising position you wanted. King's Gambit declined exchange variation. Okay, you got it, you got it. Okay, what else is there? Maybe there's something uber important what I missed. Something ultra important. Yeah, there was a question in the beginning about Benko. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna cover it today. There's so many continuations how to play against that. Portuguese Gambit. Ah, yeah, a knight f6. But there's, again, very simple approach for that. So e4, d5, he takes knight f6. Play d4, bishop g4. And just don't play f3. You can simply trade the bishops. Put the knight on f3 and claim better position. That's it. I mean, it's simple as that. Just play short castle, c4, knight c3. You're getting a center. I mean, this is less clear. I mean, knight f3. Knight f3, queen d5, bishop e2, knight c6, short castle, long castle. I mean, this can be quite complex. There's some queen h5, e5 ideas. There's some pin. It can be quite... yeah, it's quite complex, especially in blitz. In blitz, it's probably just fine. Yeah, queen f5 is an idea. Yeah, I remember this. But there's a simple move, bishop e2, and that's it. First you trade the bishops, and then you just play knight f3. So all of the tactical ideas black is missing at this point. Unless, of course, you want this fun yourself. e4, e6, d4, d5, e5, c5. Yeah, now you're reaching, of course. I mean, what is G? I mean, you can play whatever. G6, b6, knight e7. Many moves. Now this is ridiculous. Now maybe there's something more popular. This French defense line, which was mentioned by Noam Life and so on. I first time I've seen this. e4, e6, d4, d5, e5, c5. Somehow it doesn't even make sense. What's your point here? To sacrifice this pawn here? Alrighty. Yeah, I guess everybody is out of the ideas. So, unless somebody is suggesting something super critical, I guess I'll finish. Yeah, you gave me a lot of ideas. Hi, Sleepish Mashkin. I mentioned it already. I totally destroyed it. The Philidor counter-gambit. totally, absolutely destroyed it. Yeah, sure, you can review it later. And again, I would like to remind you guys that tomorrow I'll have this match. If you use the command play, mostly I'm especially inviting my channel subs to play in this event. I'm gonna play against San Francisco Mechanics tomorrow after exactly 22 hours. And every player will get to play 2 rapid games against an opponent of his level, and I'll be the guy who will be doing the commentary. So it should be quite fun. And the next match is scheduled for next Wednesday against St. Louis Chess Club, and they're also gonna stream. So I imagine this is gonna be quite an event. So I would be super, super happy, of course, especially for the subs, to participate in this event. And registration is gonna start 1 hour before the start, so you need to be there on time. On Wednesday, it's 11 CST, whatever time is that, St. Louis time. 11 CST in the morning, so it's 18 o'clock Central European time, I think. Hi Malibu. The Cunningham defense. What is that? Hi Mukaluk. Hi to you as well. By the way, all of the details about the streamer battle is in the both my chess club and both the sub club. I've written all of this, so don't miss it, please. Cunningham is in King's Gambit. Bishop e7. Yeah, where bishop e7? Where? Can you give me exactly the order of the moves? So I guess it's e4, e5, f4. You mean here? No, I guess you just take it here and now play bishop e7, right? Knight f3, bishop e7. So what's the idea? To give a check? I have no opinion about it. No opinion. So what about something like bishop c4? The engine says knight f6. Ah, then bishop h4. And king f1. I know we play like Karyakin, bishop e7 and bishop f8. Right? Because Karyakin did play queen h4 and queen d8. Except this is gonna take us longer. Yeah, sneaky attack. I guess it's playable. I mean you saw the list of the King's Gambit sub-variations, right? There's so many lines. It's gonna be available, Mukalok, in the archive, so don't worry about this too much. You can read this on video on demand. It's gonna be there. I'm later also gonna upload it to YouTube, so nothing is missed. And I think I'm also gonna do a pioneer. No, I don't know. I mean, I think I could do a specific bootcamp about the King's Gambit. Now this I could do. Various ideas, the history, the sublines, the crazy lines, and I know the engines don't really approve of it, but it's the so-called romantic chess, isn't it? The Staunton Gambit, yeah, but there's so many gambits, yeah. I did not check Staunton Gambit. I did not check Benko Gambit. I did not really check Queen's Gambit. Is it? Wait. No. Flash of Steel. I did it during my bootcamp. Wait a second. I'm gonna switch to the lobby now. And switch to my YouTube channel. And it should be available. I did it for my Dutch defense. So this is how I started, actually. For Dutch defense, here. Nice music.
Rook takes on h7 is a very
Staunton Gambit.
to learn from the white's perspective.
Yeah, you see I covered all of these Dutch defense.
After these, seemingly happy to find. Still.
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure I checked this. Yeah, so yeah, so you can revisit that. I'm not gonna tell it the second time. Although, I mean, today's topic is the Gambits. But since I already covered this, I'm not gonna revisit this. Alrighty, then I guess I'm done. I'm finished with the Gambits. So I'm wishing you to play a lot of Halloween Gambits, since it's the Halloween tomorrow. And I'll be very happy if you'll be with me tomorrow during my Streamer Battle League match against San Francisco. Trick or treat, yeah. Yeah, against my match against San Francisco Mechanics. Yeah, listen, I should remember this. I could like scare them with the trick or treat. Because they are from America, right? Yeah, the time is published in the club's description, this article. It starts at 9 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, you give it away. 9 a.m. Pacific, and that is 5 p.m. Central European time, but please check. I mean, if you click on the links, you're gonna see what is the starting. Yeah, 4 p.m. sounds about right. Yeah, sounds about right because 6 p.m. here, so we are ahead 2 hours of Greenwich time. So yeah, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. But please join it as quickly as possible because there might be some limit of the players. I don't know really what is the limit. But I would, of course, be more happy to see subs joining first. Yeah, and unfortunately, there is no way I can regulate this. I was initially thinking about doing this from the sub club, but it was a risky choice because if I would be missing a lot of players, then the match would just fail. So I decided to do this from the public, chess club. Alrighty guys, then thank you that you are here today. I hope you enjoy this stuff. If you have some questions, please write it in the club at chess.com. I'm there every single day. I'm checking what's happening. At the moment it's a little bit quiet, everybody is feeling quite shy, but I would like to turn it as a place where we can discuss a lot of things post-mortem. And keep this place as a special place where we can discuss a lot of things, also about the streams, ideas you would like to see, etc, etc, etc. Right, I'm finishing, and hope you had a great time, and have a great Halloween, and see you until tomorrow. Okay, ciao, bye-bye.